Hello, everyone. Today we are going to explore one of the most important concepts in flowcharting. It's called branching. When we create a program, we often need to make decisions. Shall we prepare for a quiz tomorrow, or do we keep on playing Mobile Legends? Are we going to continue our scholarships and graduate in Pisay? Or we could transfer to other school and perform better. This kind of decision making is called branching. And it's a key part of how flowcharts work. Let's consider the flowchart posted. Here, we ask the user for the age. And based on the age of the user, it would tell us if the user can vote or not. So here, the execution of this flowchart would be first, it displays the prompt, enter your age. So the user would enter the age based on the second statement in our flowchart. And based on that given age, if the age entered by the user is, say, for example, 16, then by substitution, is 16 less than 18? The condition here is true. Since it's true, it displays can't vote, which means that the user cannot vote. Say, for example, we rerun the program, and this time, the age entered by the user is 25. So again, by substitution, we check the value of the age, which is 25. Is it less than 18? The condition here is false since 25 is greater than 18. Then, because of the condition is false, it takes the other path, which displays the text can vote. Here, this flowchart will tell the user that he or she can vote. Okay, so this is how we make use of branching. Now, let's try to solve simple problems on branching. So let's draw a flow chart that takes in two numbers. Determine whether the two numbers are equal or not. So here, we let the user input two numbers, and based on these two numbers, we are going to determine if the inputs given are equal or not. So To do the flowchart, first, of course, we make use of the terminal symbol, followed by an input statement, or a print statement rather, telling the user to enter the first number. Okay, it's important again to make use of prompts to tell the user on what it's going to do. Then we have input, first number. Then we let the user input the second number by saying print, enter second number. Then we say input second number. Then we test based on the condition. Again, it says that we are going to check whether the two numbers are equal. So we say if f num is equal to s num, then if the condition is true, we say display f num equal s num. Then we stop. Otherwise, if the condition is false, then we say display f num not equal s num. Then we connect this. I'll just be using an on-page connector to make this flowchart as neat as possible. So we're done creating the flowchart. So let's try to trace this flowchart if it would be able to give us the results needed. So again, the problem states that we are going to get two numbers from the user, and with these two inputs, we are going to determine whether these two numbers entered are equal. So first, we have to tell the user to input the first number. We have a prompt here that says enter the first number, followed by an input statement telling the user now to input a value. Say, for example, we enter 75, and we have to prompt the user to enter the second number. Here, let's say, for example, for the input, we enter 43. So after entering the second number, we are going to test both numbers if they are equal. So inside the decision symbol, we have here if the value of f num, which is 75, equal to the value of s num, which is 43. So since both numbers or the two numbers are not equal, it would take the false branch. Okay? And display f num, which is 75, not equal 43. So it's gonna display 75 not equal 43. And we have an on-page connector leading us to the end of the flowchart. Okay? So let's try to rerun the program. And this time, when the program would ask us for a number, we input 38 for the first number. And when it asks us to enter the second number, we also display 38 or enter 38. Now, going into the condition is f num, which is 38, equal to s num, which is 38. So both values or both variables hold the same value and that they are equal. So since both numbers are equal, it would take the true branch and display f num, which is 38. Okay, what will be displayed here is the value stored on variable f num, which is 38, the equality symbol, and the value stored on s num, which is 38. So it will display 38 equal 38. Then after that, we end our program. Okay? Any questions? Just message me if there are any. Now, let's have another example. Create a flowchart to determine if a given value is odd or even. Okay, so here we are going to accept a number, or we are going to create a flowchart that would accept a number, and based on that number, we are going to display number is odd or number is even. But how do we determine if a number is odd or even? Now, we say that a number is odd when it's not divisible by 2, or a number is even when it's divisible by 2. But take note that the computer doesn't know this. So we need to come up with a formula, with an equation that will help us or help the computer determine which numbers are odd or even. This time, we are going to make use of another operator called the modulo operator. Okay, the modulo operator extracts the remainder from a division operation. So it gets the first remainder. Okay? So with this, we could determine now whether a number is odd or even. So when we say if we are going to divide a number by 2 and the remainder is 0, then that means that number is an even number. Otherwise, if the remainder is odd or the remainder is 1, then that means that that number is an odd number. So let's create now the flowchart. So we could say, first we start our flowchart. We have start. Then we have print, enter a number. So you have enter a number. Then we have input, the value of that number. We store the value or the input to variable x. Then we say we have remainder is equal to x modulo of 2. Okay, so here we are going to check if the value entered to x divided by 2 would give us a remainder or get the remainder from the operation x divided by 2. So after that we say is if the value of x is equal to 0, then we display x is even. Take note again that in the display operation, those enclosed in double quotes will be displayed as is. And whatever is stored on that variable will be the ones displayed. And after displaying the value of x and the text even, we say stop. And if the condition here is false, if the value of x is not equal to 0, then we say display x is odd. Then let's have an on-page connector again to the closing of our flowchart. Now, we're done with the creation of the flowchart here. So again, when you're done making your flowchart, you need to trace it so that you will know whether you have created a flowchart that will work or a working flowchart, or you missed something to make it work. So here we have enter a number. Okay, we prompt the user to enter a number. Then whatever value that the user will enter, say for example 78, then we store it to variable x. And we say here we have a mathematical operation that extracts the remainder of 78 divided by 2. So what's the remainder of 78 divided by 2? Here we are going to get 39, 78, and the remainder is 0. So the remainder here will be stored to variable rem. And here I missed something here. This should not be X, but rather this should be rem. Okay? So here we check if rem is equal 0. So is rem equal 0? If the condition here is true, since the condition is true because the remainder that we have stored on variable rem is 0, then we take on the true path and it displays x, which is 78, is even. This will be the display given that the value entered by the user for x is 78. So let's try to rerun the program, execute the program again, and it asks us to enter a number. Say, for example, the number we enter for x is 7. Is 7 divided by 2 would give us a remainder of 0. So 7 divided by 2, that would give us 3, that would give us 6, and the remainder is 1. So 1 will be stored on variable rem. And in the condition we test, is 1 equal 0? The condition here is false. So since it's false, it takes the false branch and display 7 is odd. Okay? So hope you have learned something from this discussion, and I'll get back to you with more examples on the next video. Thank you.